you want to get your headlights from looking like this to hopefully better than this, then join me on my short learning experience on restoring your foggy yellow headlights. Before we get started, I want to say this is more of like a learn from my mistakes kind of video. This was my first time attempting this, and I want you guys to learn as much as you can from the mistakes I made. And also, I do believe my headlights are beyond repair, but we'll get into that later in the video. So this is actually my first of 2 attempts doing this, and on this attempt I did not remove the headlights. As you can see, I just make sure you mask off the area properly to protect your car's paint when you're sanding and polishing. You can also opt to remove the headlights so you don't risk damaging your paint at all, which I end up doing later in this video. In this first attempt, I think I made 2 mistakes. The first being not wet sanding, and the second being sanding using a drill. I do not recommend using a drill for any sanding, and always wet sand. Don't try sand anything, wet sand, and do it by hand. So this is how the headlights came out after my first attempt. On my second attempt, I decided to take off the headlights. As you guys can see, I have them removed from the car here. And the next mistake I think I made was starting too low of a grit. I started at a 240 this time around because even after sanding with the drill the first time, I still had a lot of cracks and fogginess in my headlight. I decided to start with a 240 grit. Don't do that. Just get 600 and do a few passes. Do not go down that low, because there are now scratches that I can't get out of the headlight from that 240 grit sandpaper. I would start maybe at a 600. I wouldn't really recommend going lower than that. And then each time you go up sandpaper, so from 600 to 800, 800 to 1000, 1000 to 1500, all the way up to 3000, every time you change papers, change the direction you're sanding in. So if you started horizontally with the 600, you go up to the 800, do vertically all the way till you get to 3000, and at 3000, you can do circles to kind of blend it all together. And throughout this whole process, do not forget to wet sand. I actually started off not wet sanding. Don't do that. Wet sand the whole way through. After you finish sanding, make sure you clean the headlights thoroughly. And then you have 2 options here. From what I've read, some people like to apply clear coat directly onto this sanded headlight, and some people like to polish before applying the clear coat. I decided to go for polishing first, and here's where I made another mistake. I didn't have a strong enough drill. Definitely use a bigger, stronger drill than what I have in this video. I don't think my drill was strong enough to properly polish these headlights. Once you get to clear coat, whether you polished or not, you want to make sure you're using something with UV protection, preferably something specifically for headlights, and make sure you apply your coats with a few minutes in between, at least 5-10 minutes in between coats, and make sure you allow at least 24 hours for the headlights to cure before you expose them to pressure, putting them back in, or rain, or whatever the case may be. Try to keep them protected for the first 24 hours for it to properly cure. So this is a pretty straightforward and short process, right? But before I show you the final results, I did try one more thing. I bought some halogen headlights that are supposed to be the whitest headlights in an attempt to make my headlights look a little better as well with white bulbs. As you're about to see, these headlights weren't as white as I thought they would be. And I chose not to go with LEDs because the internet said that my OEM housings aren't made to properly reflect the light of LEDs. It's made for a halogen bulb, and that it wouldn't distribute the light properly, and that it wouldn't be, it would decrease visibility. I don't know. Didn't work out well because they're still yellow, and I'm not really happy about that. But yeah, here's the final results. So as you can kind of see, there's some foggy parts still. I don't know what happened with the between like polishing and clear coat, but it left some spots foggy that weren't foggy before I applied the clear coat. I'm not exactly sure what happened there, but I don't know. And if you look closely, there's still cracks deep in my headlight. Those cracks that I can't get out are the reason why I think my headlights are beyond repair, and no matter how many times I do this, they're still going to be a little foggy. So as you can see, from the beginning to how they are now, it's a pretty good difference. They are much better, but I think I could have done a better job if I had just, did a little more research before I got to work on my headlights. Another thing is those cracks are really throwing me, and I want to try one more method where I use I think it's like steam, like they boil the acetone or something, and it like melts the plastic, something like that. I'm gonna look into that and see if I try that out. Let me know if you guys want to see me attempt that on these headlights to see if it does anything for them, but I wouldn't be doing that anytime soon. I'm just gonna ride these out until they get yellow again. If you guys have any ideas on how I can make my current headlights better without doing too much more, or anything you want me to try, leave it in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.